After 5 years of having my own home gym, I've realized there's no shortage of annoying things that can use upgrades in a home gym. There are so many little tiny things that you don't think about when you're building out your home gym that over time you realize there's gotta be a better way. So I wanna show you some of the things that I think are the most annoying or inconvenient part of having a home gym and simple ways to upgrade them. These are not complicated DIY solutions, and don't worry, they do not cost a lot. Everything I'm gonna show you is under $50, and in most cases, well under that. Just simple things you can buy to upgrade to make things a little bit easier for you and frankly, less annoying. And I already teased one of the things that I think is the most annoying part of a home gym, so let's start there.
Are you tired of weak, unreliable spring clips that barely hold your plates in place, struggling to squeeze them onto the bar, only for them to slip and slide mid-set? And when you're done, you end up tossing them to the ground, hoping you'll be able to find them next time. There has to be a better way.
And now there is. Introducing clamp collars. Let's talk about spring clips for a second. Everybody has them, every gym has them. They come standard with all gym equipment and they work. Don't get me wrong. If you don't want to spend any money, these absolutely work. But there's so many issues with these stupid things. First of all, when you first get them, it feels like you need Hulk strength to get them onto the bar. In my old gym, this is all they had. And some of them would be way too tight where you couldn't get them onto the bar, or some of them would be so loose that they would just fly right off because over time, they loosen. A lot of times they don't sit flush. So you deal with that rattle, and when you have multiple plates, they end up hitting together and it's not great. There's such a better solution than these stupid things. Clamp collars. These ones are from Bells of Steel. A lot of companies sell them. Mine were $35. They are magnetic. They slide right onto the bar, and then the clamp actually holds your weight securely. So not only is it flush, but it is never gonna slide on you. Unlike the spring collars that loosen over time and your weights can shift, these are never gonna go anywhere. And the fact that they're magnetic means that when you're done with it, goes right on the rack. They are glorious and they are such a worthwhile upgrade. I know it might be annoying to spend $35 on something that you don't need because you have spring collars, but I'm telling you, these are worth the upgrade. And if you don't wanna spend money on those, there's a simpler version. These are not magnetic, but these are just a plastic clamp collar that I had before this one that I just got on Amazon. About 20 bucks for the pair, same deal. It goes onto the bar and clamps down, and it is very secure. The piece that clamps on right here makes storing it really easy because it can go right in the holes of your rack. So I always keep mine hung at the very top of my rack out of sight. Get rid of your spring collars. You don't need them anymore. Upgrade them, but if you want to keep them around to remind yourself how silly you used to be, then I get it. But wait, there's more.
Tired of small, flimsy carabiners on your pulley machine that pinch your fingers every time you try to change attachments? Or worse, are you constantly battling with them? Struggling to add or remove your favorite attachments because they're just too tiny and awkward? Now there's a better way. Introducing
slightly larger carabiners. This one is specific for cable machines, and admittedly, it's kind of silly, but it is absolutely necessary. The default carabiners that come with the cable machine are so tiny. I'll give you a little comparison of what I upgraded to. So here's the default, and here's what I upgraded to. Not a huge size difference, but enough that it actually makes a pretty big difference. Depending on the attachments you have, in my case, I have these multi-grip attachments. Some of them just will not clip on when you have the tiny carabiner. Like this one literally doesn't fit. And for a little while, I was silly and I was just clamping a larger carabiner to my small one for when I needed it. And then I realized I had this brilliant epiphany. Why not just switch it? Genius, right? But this slightly larger one means that I can attach my attachments to it and I don't have to worry about them fitting, and it makes my life so much easier. Every single hardware store has these carabiners. They are a few bucks. Get yourself a bunch so you have them. I have a bunch of extra ones. And then I did also invest in some larger sizes. I have this one monstrous one, which you can see the comparison here. It is very much larger. They come in handy for random stuff and they're so cheap that they are worth having. This large one is for my belt squat setup. This is what I use to link them up and it makes life easier. But having these large ones really, really helps. But just upgrade your small carabiners. they're too tiny, they're pretty useless. Just go one size up. Bring your small ones to the hardware store, or better yet, bring your favorite attachments to the hardware store and make sure you get a carabiner that it's comfortable enough to get it on and off, because those tiny ones, they're not gonna work. They're gonna catch your fingers. They're gonna drive you crazy. Go with the upgrade.
Tired of your cable exercises feeling like you're wrestling an octopus? Sick of that awkward resistance that makes every movement feel wrong? Is clipping your pulley cables together damaging your cables? Surely there's a better way.
This is a 2-to-1 cable adapter, and it will make your life so much easier if you have a cabled pulley tower. I don't think I need to get into the science or the physics behind a pulley tower, but it's a 2-to-1 ratio. Basically, if there's 100 pounds on the stack and you pull on one side, it's 50 pounds. So if you want a true 1-to-1, you got to pull both of these at the same time to get the weight that's on the weight stack or on your weight plates. Now, this was not something I thought about when I was first using my pulley tower. So what I would do is what a lot of people do and clip these two together with a carabiner. Like I was talking about before, a larger carabiner works great. You clip them together, and then technically, I don't know how much weight I put on there, and then technically you got the full weight distribution there. But there's a few problems with it. One of them being an uneven pull. Let me lower this weight. One of the biggest problems is that as you pull, since these are meeting in the middle, you'll see these cables are pulling in. You want the cables pulling straight from the wheel, because when they're pulling in, you're gonna risk damaging them. And I'll give you a close up here. You can see mine. I've put tape on my cables because over time, I didn't realize I was damaging my cables. At the very end here, when you're pulling, when you're off the wheel, you're pulling against steel, and that is gonna wear on these, whatever they're made out of, these pulleys. So instead of that, you get yourself a 2-to-1 adapter and then throw a carabiner in the center. And now that way, when you're pulling, it's gonna pull straight down with even resistance throughout, and it's gonna make a world of difference. I have the 2-to-1 adapter, and then I also have this Kaizen adapter. This is a multi-link adapter, so there's a lot more options. With this multi-link, I can make it so that it sits a little higher up. So what I mean is I can hook these up halfway. I can hook these up here so it hangs a little bit lower. So depending on what you're doing, if you're doing pull downs or triceps, every inch really matters with this because it's only so tall. So you can kind of change where it links up to. They're both very cheap. I think it's worth having each, but these are both cheap enough. I think it's like 20 bucks, maybe 30. That seems like a lot. Hold on, I'm checking my computer. 25 and 15, I did it. 25, 15. They're worth it if you have cables and you don't want to damage them and you just want smooth, consistent, accurate resistance. That's the way to go.
Watch as this poor soul tries to walk across the floor, only to be taken out by a cacophony of equipment. Proper storage solutions can set you back hundreds of dollars, and while the floor is free, it's quite the safety hazard. Surely there must be a solution.
All right, I'll admit that was incredibly exaggerated, but there is some truth in there. I use my floor for storage a lot. Like I have stuff tucked away all over the place because I'm cheap and lazy. So I do have a shelving unit that I got from Amazon for just under 100 bucks. It's very cheap, but it's just kind of to lay stuff on. So I do have that solution, but for certain attachments and other things, these utility hooks are incredible. I got a 6-pack of these on Amazon for, I think, $15. They're these hooks with this little smaller hook on the end that goes right into your rack, and you can use it for rack attachments. I have carabiners, I have my cable adapters here. On the opposite side, I have 2 of them to hold one of my handles because it tucks away nicely. Now, I don't keep my stuff hanging on my main upright. I have it on the back side, but for filming purposes, it looked really stupid. Some people have 6-post racks where they have the extra storage. If you have an upright that's holding plates, for example, you can use it to also hold your attachments and throw these hooks on it, but being able to hang them up top or on the cross members underneath, on the back upright, wherever it is, just being able to hook these in, they're super sturdy and they hold everything you could want. They are awesome, and for 15 bucks, if you need a cheap storage solution, can't really do much better.
Tired of trying to balance your phone up against the most random of objects to check your form? Are all of your videos taken at the most unflattering angles imaginable? Disgusting. Is the idea of lugging around a giant tripod a thing of nightmares? Do not be like this guy.
Now, filming yourself in the gym might be super unappealing to you, but I think it's beneficial for everybody. Whether you're at a home gym or a commercial gym, filming yourself is the best way to get direct feedback on your form. You might think you are squatting, deadlifting, benching perfectly, but when you film yourself and watch it back, you will notice things that you do not notice while you're going through the lifts. So filming yourself is incredibly beneficial. These flexible tripods are incredible. They are so cheap. I got this one years ago. There are a bunch of brands. I don't even know what this one is, but they are like $10, $15. They are essential. Since these are flexible, they can wrap around anything, so you can get the perfect angle that you want. But you can even make it really creative. You can put it on the weight plates if you want to. You can hook it up directly above you to get a top down. I don't know how you want to check your form, and I am not judging you, but you don't have to prop this up places. You can wrap it around literally anything, and it will make your form checks so much easier. Will that stay? Hey, that'll stay. I wasn't confident about that actually. And if you want to invest in an actual tripod, you can. I mean, my camera right now is on a pretty big tripod, but it's annoying to set up when I just want to film a quick lift. So I use this with my phone to just put it and prop it up somewhere. You can do like a Blair Witch style lift. I don't care how you do it. It's worth it though. It's worth it.
Are you still struggling with hitch pins? On one side, there's a gigantic handle, and on the other side, there's a tiny finger guillotine just waiting to torture you. Sometimes there's even a little built-in rope to ensure you are always enraged. It's time for an upgrade.
It's time for magnetic pins. These right here are honestly one of my favorite upgrades in my home gym. The problem is they're not that cheap, so I'm gonna make it a bonus item here. I gave you 5 items, so this is 6. The thing is, I despise hitch pins. I have a bag full of them, and they're in a shopping bag, a plastic shopping bag, and it keeps breaking because these stupid things stab through it. It's on me because I should put them in something else, but I won't because I hate them and I want to complain. The hitch pins, we've all seen them. We've all probably used them. I've used them a ton. They have this stupid pin at the end here that sometimes is just so hard to get out and will just kind of stab and cut off circulation to your finger. I hate having to use these. And then you have other versions where they thought they figured it out. So they made it so the end was like not so stabby, but then it's just on this rope. So like you put it in your rack and it's just kind of like hanging there all the time. And this is nitpicky, sure, but I hate them almost as much as I hate spring collars, spring clips, whatever. These magnetic pins are incredible. You don't have to deal with the pins on the other side because they got these little nubbers right here. I use some form of pin constantly. I'm filming this right next to my lever arms with these adapters to show you I use this daily. Every single workout, I use my lever arms. I love them so much. I'm fighting the urge to make another lever arm video because I've made, I feel like, too many already, but I have an idea for one, so there might be another one coming, but nonetheless, they're adjustable with these pins. And what I just did, adjusting the position 4 times with that stupid hitch pin, would have taken me a million hours at least. But again, the reason why I didn't want to include this as a must upgrade, these ones that I got are $35 each. I think Fringe sells them 2 for $50, at least right now. So technically it's under the threshold of what I want to recommend, being $50, just an arbitrary number that I set. Now I was fortunate enough that at the Arnold, they had these, so I did not spend, I don't know, whatever that math came out to. But that's a pretty penny when hitch pins are super cheap. So if you want to keep things cheap, hitch pins do work. I like to poo-poo on them because they're awful. But I mean, I've also used them for years and they were just fine for me. Just knowing that these exist and having used them now, they are a million times better. So I can't go back to using hitch pins. If you can afford an upgrade, maybe just get 1 or 2. And then if you need to get more, you can go from there. I think for most people, 2 is just fine. These are awesome. So I wanted to give them an honorary mention because I use them daily and I hate hitch pins. So there you go. Now, those are just some of the things that I find annoying about a home gym, but as anyone with a home gym can attest to, there are a ton of annoying things about having a home gym. So let me know in the comments what some of your most annoying things are about having a home gym. and what your solutions are. I'm trying to pump out more home gym content. I really want to review a lot of equipment. I just don't have the space right now. I am maxed out. I can't take on any equipment and review it. So time will tell on that. But if you could think of any kind of home gym content you want to see on my channel, you let me know. Please share this with your friends, subscribe and like, and do all those things. All the things that are no cost to you help me out tremendously. I appreciate you guys. Thank you. I will see you in the next video.